Good. So you may take a snap of it. The fourth question I have given to you as your homework, the practical one, which you will be solving on your own, and I have also sent you uh, the suggested answer from my side. Try to go through that suggested answer. If you are stuck anywhere, please let me know. So let's move to the fifth question now. Now there is a bit of uh, you know a trick over here in the fifth question. Let's see what is different. Apparently, it looks a very simple question, but the only problem here is it is compounded continuously. So I'll come to that continuous compounding. Before that, let's read the question properly. I hope it's visible to everyone. And if it is not, please let me know. Okay. A person deposits 5,000 rupees in a bank account which pays the interest at 11 percentage compounded continuously. So it's compounded continuously. That is the word we'll be highlighting. How much will be in his bank account after 10 years? There is a number of periods given to us, so it's not an infinity, first of all. But compounding is taken place continuously. Now, what do we understand by the continuous compounding? May I have the interaction from your side? Is anyone having any idea about the continuous compounding? Any rough idea as well? Approximate answers? Absolutely fine, no worries.
Compounding is done on daily basis, maybe.
If it is on a daily basis, then also there are specific days in a year, right? 365 or 366 or whatever it could be. Then also it is quantifiable, no? If it is a daily basis, then also it's a quantifiable. I mean, you can find it. So for how many number of periods the compounding will take place in total? Say if it is a daily basis. So 365 days in a year, and in total we have how many number of years? 10 years. So there would be 3650 periods in the total 10 years of time frame I have. So see how generally we do this. This would be the number of periods in the entire uh, 10 years of time frame. So how do we generally do it? We multiply PV with 1 plus R raised to n, right? Now we divide R with the compounding frequency and we multiply n with the uh, compounding frequency. So here in this case, say for example, if I take the daily basis, try to understand this. Huh? Say if I'm taking the daily basis, so I'll be putting 5,000 there as a PV multiplied by 1 plus R. R needs to be divided by the compounding frequency. Now compounding frequency is daily. So in a 1 year, R is given to you on yearly basis. This is a yearly R. So if you want to find a daily R, you obviously you will have to divide it by 365, right? And raised to n, so whatever the number of years are given to you, multiplied by 365. Because if you do it on daily basis, then this many number of periods, there would be a compounding. Now this is also quantifiable. Yes, it would be little bit difficult for us to understand and to apply what is R divided by 365. The answer would be very small, but still it is quantifiable. That means it is measurable. But here it's not the word daily used, it's continuous. So when I say continuous, then obviously there has to be some or other time frame for which the compounding is taking place. A day can further again be divided into number of hours. So each day, say for example, would be having the 24 hours. So if you will be doing it on hourly basis, again it's a quantifiable. Now some people would be like, R is also not a continuous one. No, R also has the minutes. So you will have to divide R with the total number of minutes in the entire year, and you will have to multiply this n with the total number of minutes in the entire year. So एक साल में कितने number of minutes आते हैं? Someone who will be so much precise, he would say continuous does not mean even the minutes. Continuous means seconds. So you will have to divide the hour by total number of seconds in the entire year, and you will have to multiply the n with the total number of seconds in the entire year. Now seconds can also be bifurcated into microseconds. You can imagine how much complex it would be. But one thing is for sure that it is something, the n is something, the number of periods is something which is continuous. When I say continuous, that means it is exponential in nature. They are continuously increasing. Say if you have the graph like this, that means there is a steady increase. But if you have the graph like this, if this is the graph, then it's the exponential one, no? Because now each and every minute change will take place, no? The number of periods would be too many. You cannot even identify, you cannot even count the total number of periods. Total number of periods are infinite. Some people will call microseconds, some people will go to the seconds, some people will go to the minutes. And if you'll try to identify total number of minutes, total number of microseconds, I'm sure it would be a very complicated one for you. So it's nothing but the infinite, because there is no particular division of time period. You cannot call any time period as the continuous one. Time periods are something which are decided by the normal human beings like us for our executional purposes. No one can say that 1 second to another second is a continuous one, because seconds can again be bifurcated into microseconds. Even the microseconds can again be diversified into various other time slots. So let's not go into that. What we have understood from here is that the number of periods are infinite. And when the number of periods are infinite, then the application of limit comes into the picture. Limit. Now, when you have the limit which is an infinite, at what time, what would be your compounding? So here in this case, we would be using the exponential factor, because there is no way in which we can predict how many total number of time periods would be there. So the formula that we use over here is looking like this: PV multiplied by E raised to RT. E stands for the exponential factor. This is exponential factor. R stands for the rate of return. And T stands for the number of years. E raised to RT. That is the continuous compounding we use. If we derive an equation by using the limit as well as the derivation, then we will be able to reach to this particular formula. So let's not go into the derivation aspect, because for that you must have the knowledge of derivation, derivatives, integration, some of the formulas related to that. So it's the continuous compounding. So the formula we use is the present value multiplied by exponential factor raised to RT. Is it clear? So what is the formula we'll be using now? In this case, let's put everything in this formula. Now this is equal to FV. PV is going to be obviously, sir, 5000 multiplied by E. E is something which is quantified. Exponential factor is something which is quantified. The value of exponential factor is 2.718. Just like we have derived the value of pi by applying some mathematical derivation, the exponential factor value can also be found by doing some mathematical exercises. right? So the formula we generally use is 1 plus 1 divided by n factorial. If you keep on doing that, you will get the value which would be somewhere near to 2.718. So some people would be like, sir, what is this factorial? Let me just give you another example. Say 1 plus 1 be my FV when the continuous compounding is not there, and when there is a continuous compounding, the FV would be PV multiplied by exponential factor raised to RT. And I'll tell you how to solve this RT. So let's come back to the question. PV is the amount of investment we make, 5,000 rupees. Exponential factor we people are aware about, that would be given to us in a question as well, 2.718, which is an approximate answer of the exponential factor. RT, R stands for the rate of return which this fellow is going to get in the entire year. So exponential factor will be how much? Can we, sorry, R will how much? 11 percentage is the R, and number of periods are 10. So I'm taking raised to R, that's going to be my 11. So I can write it 0.11, and T would be 10. So equal to 5,000 multiplied by 2.718 raised to 1.1. Now some students would be like, sir, again we are little bit stuck because we don't know how to find this value. If it is in whole numbers, then you can directly straight away multiply. But if it is in decimal, then how can we do it? Yes, we have the answers for everything. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. But one thing is uh, sure, that you have got everything till now, right? I'll tell you how to find this value. That is going to be the next step. अभी तक सब कुछ क्लियर है? May I have a very छोटा सा confirmation from all of you? You know how this the value of this exponential factor is divided, right? 2.718. You know what is the continuous compounding. You know that number of periods cannot be an infinite, and infinite cannot be defined. So that's why we use this continuous compounding formula. Okay. Now here in this case, you will have to use the logarithm. If you have a scientific calculator, then you can straight away do it by applying some function, because in a scientific calculator you have an option to uh, put the put the power as 1.1 in a decimal too. But in generally the calculator we use, we do not have that. But that's perfectly fine. I mean, that is not required too. Now let's assume this value as x. So let x equal to 2.718 raised to 1.1. Some people would be having the problem with the x. You might use something else, whatever you want to. Just a second. Good. Now here we'll be taking the logarithm on both the sides, because anything which you are doing obviously should be on left hand side as well as right hand side. So here log x will be equal to, now whenever you take the log, please put it in the back of your mind, all of my students, that if anything is there in a power, will come in a multiplication over here. That's the basic rule of logarithm. So if there something is there in a power, it comes in a multiplication, multiplied by log of 2.718. Right? So rule number one, everyone, please put it in the back of your mind. Anything is there in a power will come in the multiplication. As simple as that. Equal to 1.1. Now we can find the log value of this. For that, we can use the table of log. I have shared the table of log with all of you. You may check it. I am also opening the log table over here. How to check the log? Everyone, please concentrate. See, Logarithm will always be found for the initial two digits. Now, for the sake of finding the value, let's ignore this decimal as of now. So for the first two values, obviously at every point of time you will be finding the log. So you will be finding the log of 27, right? And you will take the value of 1. In 27's table, you will get the value starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll tell you how to get those values. And the min difference of 8, I mean that's gonna be your 4 digit, you will be adding. This is the mean difference. So whatever the mean difference is there, no, you will be adding in that value, whatever the log value you get. So please, again, I'm clarifying this. You will find the value of the first two digits, which is going to be 27. Now in 27's table, get the value of 1, and whatever the mean difference is there in 8, add that mean difference in the log value you get. Right? So we are supposed to find the anti-log of 0.47. So sir, 0.47 is this over here. I'm marking this. Then the value of 7 will be taken. Now value starts with 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 comes at 2999. I'm marking this. And sir, main difference will be again of the 7th, which is our 4th digit. So main difference of 7. Now main difference starts with 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7's mean difference is 5. Now 5 will be added over here. 5 will be added over here in this value. So if you add 5 into 999, so the value comes 3004. So you have 3004. Now please write this 3004 as it is. Now the next question arises that sir, where to put the decimal? Now here in this case, it would be the exact reverse of what we had done in the log. See, before decimal, how many digits you have, sir? Before decimal, only 0 digit is there. No digits are given to you, 0 digit is there. So here in this case, you add 1 digit. If you have 0 digit, you add 1 digit, and if you add 1 to 0, it will be 1. So add 1. Sir, in 0 if we add 1, it becomes 1. So our answer should be, our decimal should be in a 1 digit. So 3.004 is going to be my x. Now this is only the value of x we have got. X is very complicated to understand. मैथमेटिशियंस की जिंदगी ही पूरी x को फाइंड करने में चली जाती है. So now we need to put that x value in this original equation. So 5000 multiplied by, let's put this value because this was the value we had assumed for x, right? So that's gonna be 3.004, and you multiply that with 5000. What do we get? Can someone give me the answer, please?
15,020.
15,020. Now you can tell it to this particular fellow who had invested in the continuous compounding investment option that okay, you will get 15, somewhere around 15,000 after 10 years. उसको बोला भाई क्यों तू कंपाउंडिंग कंटिन्यूअस में जा रहा है, हमारी क्यों मेहनत बढ़ा रहा है तू, इज्जत से कोई डेली वाला या फिर मंथली वाला कंपाउंडिंग कर ले. लेकिन उसको मजा आया ऐसा करने से. क्या आया उसको? मजा आया. कोई बात नहीं, चलता है, हमें सीखने को मिला. नाउ let's do one or two more exercises of this logarithms, and after that I think we would be absolutely well with the continuous compounding. Now let's move to these two questions. You may take a snap of it. Acha, before that, let me just ask this to you. Have you got everything, please? May I have a chotu sa confirmation again? Okay, one question I have received from Miss Avni that, sir, anti-log we have to add in before decimal value or digit. See, in anti-log, what Miss Avni you had done is, let me go to that question again. Right, sir, 0.477 છે એની જગ્યાએ 1.477 હોત તો શું થાત? એવું એક જગ્યાએ આવવાનું જ છે હમણાં. તો ત્યારે જ કરીએ.
Okay.
Okay, let's move. So let's go to the PV now. First of all, let's understand what amount Mr. Yes, now we are into a PV of the single transaction. Huh? So here in this case, first understand that what is the compounding we are using. And the formula will be slightly different. The same formula, I mean, the PV's formula is not a different formula. It is derived from the FV formula only. So in FV, what we were using, FV equal to PV multiplied by 1 plus R raised to N, right? Now, if you modify this formula a bit, it becomes like FV divided by 1 plus R raised to N equal to PV. So I can effectively say that it's nothing but FV multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus R raised to N equal to PV. So the same formula we are using again to find the PV. Now here in this case, we are supposed to find the present value. How? Let's check the question. What amount Mr. Don will have to invest now to get 50,000 after 5 years? What amount Mr. Don will have to invest now to get 50,000 after 5 years? Compounding is done on quarterly basis, 11% per annum rate. So what we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find the present value. He wants that what amount he will be investing right now to get 50,000 after 5 years. So in this case, we have the future value given to us. We are supposed to find the present value investment. So you can use this FV formula too. You can use the formula of PV too. And obviously that is derived from the first one only. So FV equal to, sorry, PV equal to FV multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus R raised to N. This is also called as the discounting factor. This is discounting factor. Now entire capital budgeting, NPV and IRR and everything was dependent on this discounting factor only. So capital budgeting, options valuation, share valuation, business valuation, so many advanced uh, the sectors of financial management are dependent on this time value of money. So that is also called as the discounting factor. So equal to FV. FV, sir, what is the FV in this case? 50,000 rupees he wants to get, multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus R raised to N. Now, sir, R is how much? R is going to be 11 percentage. So can someone tell me whether I should take the 11 percentage straight away or some change needs to be done? Inviting the answers from you. Will it be 11?
0.11.
0.11. Any change in that?
Divided by 4.
True, because the compounding is quarterly basis. Your R must also be converted into quarterly basis. And if you want to convert your R into quarterly basis, first identify how many quarters takes place in a year. So there are 4 quarters in a year. Right? Every 3 months is considered to be as a quarter. So there are 4 quarters in a year. So R needs to be divided by 0.01. 0.11 divided by 4. That's going to be my R. And here in this case, the n shall be, n would be how much? Can someone tell me?
5 into 4.
20.
Very true, 20. Sir, 5 multiplied by 4. So whatever the number of years are given to you, multiply those number of years with the compounding frequency. So in how many in 1 year, how many quarters are there? Sir, 4 quarters. So very simple to understand. So whatever the 4, or if it would be a 6 monthly, then you will get 2, because in a year you get 2 6 months. So whatever that you get, no frequency, now divide rate with that frequency and multiply n with that frequency. As simple as that. So equal to 50,000 multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus 0.11 divided by 4. What do we get? Can someone tell me, please? We get
0.0275.
0.275. Very good. And n would be 20. Okay, let's move ahead further. So equal to 50,000 multiplied by, I can also write it like 1.0275 raised to 20. Now, whenever you have something in raise, no, over here, you can take a log of it, as simple as that. There is a one way. You assume this value as x, and whatever the process we have done for the logarithm, you can again do that process. But we are the smart people, and we know the shortcuts how to do it. We are aware as well. So you people are aware what to do. You can find the discounting factor in your calculator. How you'll have to do? Just do 1 divided by 1.0275, press equal to. So that means 1 time equal to you have already pressed. You can keep pressing that equal to for 19 more times. So in total you will press 20 times. And whatever the value you get, multiply that with 50,000. So 1 divided by 1.0275. Press equal to. So 1 time is done. Again do it for 19 more times. Keep pressing equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, and you get something. Otherwise, you could have taken the log as well for this. Just a second, guys. Yes, sir. No, આના પછી નથી. I'm moving. Done, done. A little bit done. Okay. Now you people will also be like, sir, we have a break time now. Okay, no worries. We'll just complete in a minute. So raised to 20, you can do it in a calculator. 1 divided by 1.0275. Press equal to. So 1 time is done. Press 19 more times. So you get something. Can I get the answer, please? Let me do it in a Excel. Excel has the answer for everything. Yes, dear.
0.5813.
Okay. 0.5813. And that needs to be multiplied with 50,000. So you get the present value. May I have the present value, please?
29,065.
29,065. This is going to be your investment. So that's going to be the present value. Tell it to that fellow. Oh, Mr. Fellow, come over here. Mr. Don. You will have to invest 29,065. 30,000 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करने वाला है. कैसा सस्ता नशेड़ी डॉन कहाँ से आया है पता नहीं. Anyway, so 30,000, 29,000 you would be investing to get 50,000 after the number of periods which are given to us. Well, now you will take this question as a practice question, which is a continuous compounding. I haven't done it yet, but I am going to solve this. Right? So before that, I want you people to just, try on it. थोड़ा सा कोशिश तो कीजिए, मैं तो हूं ही करने वाला, लेकिन आई वॉन्ट यू पीपल जस्ट टू ट्राई. So please take this question, question number 7, which is continuous compounding, and you are supposed to find the present value. The same formula of PVFV of continuous compounding we have used. No, you will also use the same formula again, but instead of PV, instead of FV, you will be finding the PV in this case. As simple as that. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear till now. Just give your attendance, put your enrollment number in this chat box, and that's it from my side. Everyone, please put your enrollment number. We have got the answer from Mr. Hitesh too. Good to see that. Oh, that was the investment of 5,000, not 50,000. Good. The investment was of the 5,000, not the 50,000. Please take that into